host, Cain Stevens. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cain Stevens Super Show, the super show in all the land. I'm your host, Cain Stevens, and these are my super guests. I've got one guy I know pretty well because I played in bands with him. The other guys, I kind of like look in from afar, and I kind of see all this cool stuff they're saying, and they seem to be playing out. So, I'm lucky enough to have somehow baffled them into coming on the show. So let's welcome My Juliet, everybody. How's it going, boys? How are you? Yeah. So what do you guys? Do you guys have practice today? Is I finally wrangled you guys in after practice or something?
We had some recording to do today.
Perfect.
It actually went really well.
Excellent. So you guys are in the process of doing an EP or an album right now, correct?
Yeah, an EP right now. Yeah.
Well,
An
it's an
EP?
album. It's an EP, basically.
Well, yeah. An album, an EP. It's all the same. An EP is shorter. It does, But the fact of the matter is, you guys are recording artists. You guys are playing out. You guys are doing a lot of great things, and I felt you guys should be amongst all the great bands in the area, man. You guys seem to be doing really well. So
it's like cartoon rock. We never know what we're doing, but eventually we're still going to live through it.
Exactly. Well, I can't wait to talk to you. I can't wait to talk to you more. I've seen some things that you've said lately that I want to dive into because I find it very interesting. But can I get everybody to kind of say who they are? So let's start from left to right. Who do we got here for the listener, the audience?
When you say left, you mean your
Yeah,
left?
well, yeah, I'll say my left. So I think I can just say for certain Jerry's on my left. So let's start with Jerry. This is Jerry Johnson. And then let's go down the list so that everybody can kind of meet you guys.
All right.
I'm Jerry.
Okay.
I'm Diamond Doug.
I'm Ray. Avatar. I don't really exist.
You don't exist. Now I'm convinced you guys are vampires. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I think that the band is just a front for you guys to really get up.
Well, no one knows because we know where to hide the bodies.
That's right.
We are more divine now.
So you guys have been playing out and you guys have been doing a lot of stuff, but I've seen Ray in particular has been saying some stuff that I thought really was I like bravo to you for coming out and saying it, the things that the rest of us aren't saying, which is we're kind of tired of these club owners and these bar owners and stuff expecting the band to do all the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Things have changed in the last.
Well, the thing, the bar owners, I mean, I get it. It's all about bottom line. But
right.
I come from a management perspective and I'm like, I know what you're paying for things. So stop giving me the bullshit. Yeah. If you're in a business, each business needs to get paid.
Right.
Yeah. And band is a business.
Oh, it absolutely is. And anyone who says it isn't is a fool or has never been in a band before and run a band that gets paid, right? It's a business. You're promoting all the money you have into gear. It's the clothes you wear. It's everything you do. It's just a little bit more about that business. And you guys are a 5-piece, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so a 5-piece is, I mean, that's a lot of moving parts, especially for, I don't know who your business guy is or who is the guy in your band that kind of reels everybody in.
Well, I would say I reel everybody in and I piss them off all at the same time. Yeah. I just kind of do my thing. And if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, they're going to let me know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The big thing about this band is we all work kind of together on everything. There's not a one man, leader with the Superman cape. Everybody works together, figures out the cogs of the machine. Like
right there.
Everything works as a machine, and we're probably one of the best, well-oiled ones as far as what we know what's going on.
Yeah.
We're pretty open and honest with each other, which is a good thing.
We keep it real.
You need that. So you guys have all been playing music for a long time, though, right? I mean, a lot of you guys have been hammered out since like the 80s and stuff, haven't you?
36 years for me. I was in my first touring band at 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
What about the rest of you guys? Like, give me an idea how long you guys have been playing out.
I first started playing, music when I was in elementary school. I started with violin at first, which is usually what some kids will start out with, depending on grade. Fourth graders in high school started with violin, wood instruments. And then in fifth grade, it was like, you can do percussion, you can do trumpets, trombones, whatever the hell has you. And I started playing bass guitar when I was like 16 years old, and that pretty much stuck a little bit more. I wanted more than just classical music.
Okay, but just to let you know, skin flute is his thing, and as long as you got good lubrication, he's awesome at it. Right?
Every band needs that member of the band too. It works out in case people are upset or having a bad day. It doesn't hurt, right?
My first CD release was in 1994. So.
Well, and you, Jerry, you play lead for the band, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and so I mean, you've been, I've been in bands with you, and we all try. Some of us, I try to play lead, but then I see guys like Jerry ripping, and then I just I go throw my instrument in the trash when I go home. Jerry's a really good guitar player for anybody who doesn't know. Jerry's very.
When I first met Jerry, he was our bass player in a band that I started called Peter Panic.
Right.
And I got to be honest with you, it's such a haze. I barely remember.
I don't think I was the rhythm player.
Yeah. Forgive me. My cat just decided he wanted to be part of it.
Gino.
That's all right.
But yeah, we got together over COVID, and I'm like, man, I want to really do something. And I want to have some fun, do some recording. We had no idea what was going on. Right. And we recorded our first single, and it was actually kind of bombastic because we got great reviews over something that really didn't get a whole lot of hits because you put it out, who gives a shit? I mean who really gives a hell about the bands that aren't signed? So you've got it on Spotify, so what? I haven't made enough to fucking buy a pizza.
It's on all major streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem right now as a musician, as recording artists, as we're making such a fraction of a penny of everything. It's a slap in the face and it's disgusting. But it's also like there's so many people out there making music right now in their basements, in their bedrooms. It's a great time to be a musician, but it also sucks for the cream, to try to rise to the top a little bit. And but you guys will get there. I mean, I've listened to you guys' stuff, and it sounds like you guys are on the upper echelon of some of us basement rockers, and different things. You guys are doing well.
We're not trying to be anything. We're just being us.
Exactly.
We're having fun, and if you're not having fun with it, go home.
You're in the wrong field if you're not having fun.
I mean,
we really didn't want to be classified either, but they put us in a glam.
Yeah.
Well, and that's okay because we're pretty, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Good for you guys. The rest of us schlubs, we don't have nothing to fall back on.
Lucky enough to play with a lot of good acts over the summer, and
Yeah, we had a really good summer. I think what we opened up for. Oh geez, God, there's so many of them. What was the big one that we did? That was.
I just know I got my ass whooped every show. So
yeah.
He talks about himself all the time.
He says that, but we all got our ass whooped because most of the bands that we played with were far better than us. The difference was we just didn't give a shit, and we had fun, and everybody loved us.
That's right.
And I'm grateful for that because. If you're not having fun, get out.
That's how you do it, sink or swim. But we love to entertain. We love to be on stage. That was our thing. We are addicted to that stage, So we try to get up there any way we could.
Addicted to the rush.
And we got a little out of control, and that's why we haven't released our songs, is because we were so busy.
Yeah, we booked way too many shows. This album should have been out long time ago.
Yeah.
But
everybody's got day jobs. Everybody's trying to put this together and trying to rehearse, and all this other stuff. So
my theory is if we played throughout the summer, we'd become a better band. And guess what? It worked.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked great. So am I disappointed the album's not out yet? Yeah, because I wanted it to be out. but it's a give and take,
Right. Well, you don't want to rush it, right? I mean, you guys are putting in your time. You guys are I'm sure you all have families, things going on, jobs, like Jerry said. It's not easy. And that's the side that people don't see about musicians, especially now, is that most musicians, it's kind of like professional wrestlers, these guys at the end of the day still go home to their families and all this stuff. But then they put their life on the line and they do all this stuff for the music, for the love of the music. It sounds like you guys are having fun and doing it for the love, right?
It's pretty true. Much, yeah. And then I go upstairs and I cry under my Christmas tree that's been setting up for the last year and a half, because nothing's in the way I want it. But,
Well, we pretty much run the way Lenny spoke when he was talking about stage performers and stuff like that. We said, when you go on stage, they don't want to see your neighbor up there. They want to see something immaculate, something, really transcendent power and charisma and stuff like that. He goes, if you're going to be the guy next door, then, you're not going to make the cut as far as that goes. It's all about pushing up to the next level.
Exactly. Well, and another thing I saw what Ray said was, some of these people need to kind of do better, like there's a lot of people playing out, but like really put on a show. And I think that is very much key.
Right? Part, but you expect the bar to do their part, but you also have to do your part also.
Yeah.
And that means bring it. That means
I want
advertise.
People,
it means try to get people involved. That means,
and not to interrupt you, but I want people to enjoy a show. I don't want them to come and see a guy in blue jeans and t-shirts. And that's okay for a lot of bands. There are a lot of bands that can do that, but they're different kinds of bands.
So that's not who we are.
That's not who we are. And that's not what we want to portray. And I want people to come and go, oh wow, they look the part, they play the part, and I want to make our crowd part of the show.
Right.
So I get out and I do my thing, and I'm putting the microphone in front of their faces. I'm doing all I can just to make sure that the people that come to see us get what they came for. I mean, they didn't pay a cover, or maybe they did pay $5. Good for them. Good for us.
We want to make that $5 really big.
But I just want everybody to be happy when I'm done.
Right. Well, let's talk about the Door, for example, playing for the Door. To me, it sucks. To me, yes, if you're, Bon Jovi or something, of course, they're playing for admission anyway. But I'm just saying, like, if, for example, it's not always good for the band. It's one of those little games that bar owners play, and you get hosed in the end a lot of times. And I mean, do you guys agree, or do you guys like to play for the Door?
Totally do agree. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, and I guess, I was on tour in the 90s, and our minimum for a two-day show was $1,400.
Right.
And now you're lucky to get $300,
which is peanuts.
In
this economy.
And they're like, congratulations to you, but I know you're making more money because you're charging $8 for a freaking beer.
Oh.
And nobody wants to hear that. It's like, let's support the clubs. No, let the clubs support us for once, because we're bringing people in, and we're bringing people in that wouldn't come to your club. And I'm going to say this, and I've always said this: if your club sucks, no one will come.
Yeah, absolutely. That proves time and time again is they have to do their part to, one, give you good drink specials, give you good drink prices, give you, if food's their thing, give you good food, but it's service, it's everything. They have to have a reason why people want to be there too. It doesn't matter who you bring in. There's clubs where they have top-notch bands of all kinds and still can't cut it because their club sucks. The bar sucks, right? So I really do applaud you for standing up for yourselves on that type of thing and kind of uniting musicians together in the area and being like, look, aren't you guys tired of this? Because I see the comments people are making and they're like, ooh, I would never say that, but man, kudos to you. Well, why wouldn't you say it?
Well,
they're scared. That's why.
They had a meeting at a club. I love the club they had the meeting at. And so
they're doing really well.
They actually do support bands very well, and they pay them decently. So But they had a meeting with club owners and band members this last week, and I'm like, I'm not coming, because there are too many factors. There's if you're looking at things like it was 1988, it's not going to be that way. All right, people don't go to clubs like they used to. You got kids now that would rather sit at home and get high because it's cheaper and they can listen to whatever they want right on their cell phone.
Right. Exactly.
So you've got to be more creative on how to get people to come out. Otherwise, you're looking at a demographic between 35 and 60 on who's coming out to the shows because they're trying to recapture their youth.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do too is it's not the old way it used to be. And even in my hometown, everything's changed to where it's like everybody's getting a shot. It's not, they're not out there scout, they don't have a talent scout anymore for bands. So
Nope.
you get a good talent band, like even like you said, there's big headliners that came in that didn't have a show. And it's because they didn't scout out these opening bands. They're just like, hey, if you can sell us 30 tickets, you get in. It's like, well, did you hear the band? Did you understand what was going on and everything? It's lost a lot of gumption to what actually stands as a thing. That's why I sat there in one post before. I said, there's a difference between a bar that has bands and an actual venue.
Right.
And that was the biggest conflicting, and that's a big thing with oversaturation, and they're not scouting out, it's not like, hey, we want to bring these people in because we got the best music stuff. It's like, oh, well, every Tom, Dick, and Harry goes and plays there on a Friday.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be egotistical, but you got a lot of shitty fucking bands out there. Yeah. All right. And they're willing to pay. They're willing to play for nothing.
And they get up and play.
We're not one of them.
They get up and play, and they're wearing their clothes from work, and
right, they're wearing their pajama pants, and that to me is like the biggest pet peeve. I hate to say it, but it's like, anybody wearing pajama pants anywhere aside from home to me is like, ugh, it's cringy. So if you guys do that, I've apologized, but to me that is like what happened to our grandpas when they would go out in like full suits.
I remember singing to a cucumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our favorite nutcase over here.
Also, we're obviously not doing it for the money.
Yeah,
but
we have jobs.
We do have jobs. I love the money, but bottom line is we just love what we do.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, why do it now? Why?
Right.
It's just nice to get paid to be good at it, right? I mean, you also want the reward like anybody else does. You put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to the craft. You guys work on you play your instruments, you practice, you do all this stuff. So you should get some reward for it.
And that's part of that oversaturation point with the talent levels or talent scouting is they cram everybody into the same cubby hole, whether you have somebody that's 20 years experience, unless, and then you got your original verse cover band, verse tribute band kind of crap going on. Yeah. But everybody gets pulled into certain spots and nobody has room to do more of a flux balance rather than, okay, well, they're playing for this, so you're going to play for that. You're walking into a kids that just came out of the garage with.
I feel like they were letting anybody on the stage anymore, where it used to be hard to get in certain places.
Right.
They'll let anybody now.
Yeah. We get pigeonholed into the whole glam thing, which is great because honestly, to be honest with you, that's what we love. That's what we like to do. Next album, it's totally grunge. We're gonna, but it's an outfit. It's an outfit.
Here, I'll loan you my shirt. But Jerry's a prime example. When I played with Jerry, Jerry taught me so much about being a musician. Okay. When we would play at some of these venues, Jerry and I would give it our all no matter what. It didn't matter if there was one person. It didn't matter if we were by ourselves. Him and I, Jerry would stand up there and shred as if we were playing to, 5,000 people, 12,000. It didn't matter. And that was something that always carried over from me as being a singer and stuff as well. I can learn from this guy who's been in it a while. And so, kudos to you, Jerry, for teaching me so much. Jerry was a great band member. Jerry and I did a lot of crazy shows, a lot of ridiculous stuff. Playing on, we had Cody playing on a pool table as our drummer. We played it all. We announced bingo scores to people.
That's where he got that name, Drunkle.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the drunkle.
That's right.
Jerry teaches me patience.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any.
You
And
don't
he'll be
have.
like, he's like, hey, calm down. Calm down. It's all good. You know, and this man does the same thing because I'm like, let's go. I'm a full board kind of guy. So, but
Yeah,
no,
all
but I
these
love,
guys kind of seem pretty mellow, you know what I mean, overall. So it's probably nice to have them in the band to kind of level you out, you know.
yeah, he keeps it real. They all actually they all do.
Depends on how much I drink. Keep right up with.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was completely different from my normal standpoint.
Yeah.
We've gotten arguments with other bands.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that happened.
I mean, what you see on the Facebook posts with like Ray or the My Juliet pages, I mean, we're not scared of anybody.
We call you out.
We'll call you out, or we'll say, hey, this is a problem. And we're not necessarily going to be nice about it, but we're going to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We'd rather have that, right? Who wants a liar who's gonna, who's gonna lie to your face and do all this stuff, but then in the background, you guys aren't that way. You guys are straight to the point.
don't get off the stage when we got off a stage this last summer, and the guy was like, I didn't say that, but I'm pretty goddamn sure he did. What did he say to you?
He said, it'll get better when we get up
He
there
said,
after we got done with ours.
It'll get better when we get up there.
Oh man. See, that's Bush League stuff, though. That means they're threatened by you guys in some way. I mean, if you ask me, that's why people say stuff like that. But it just makes you guys stronger, right? As a band, when you hear that crap, it might piss you off, but it makes you stronger.
We reinforce each other. We got each other's backs, and we're just like, you know what? We're going to prove.
By the end of the show, they loved us, though.
Well, the thing was that because I'm a confrontational kind of person. When I asked the guy, it was all backed off. Dude, don't bullshit me. I don't care.
With all the music experience we've had, band experience and stuff, Ray's been doing it for over 30 years. Jerry's been doing it since, I guess, the dinosaurs were born, according to his what he's saying.
Oh, Jerry's way older than the rest of us. I'm only 25.
Yeah.
Jerry's,
you're about what, 350 now?
200.
200.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I sat there.
more divine.
I was born into it with my dad, so I've been doing it over 20 years. Just all the crap you go through, my family bands, rock bands I've worked with, well, even these guys, it's all, it's chaos and it's composure. It's all put together. It's an evil balance of kerosene and fire.
Yeah. Trying to balance all the crazy, all the chaos into something that control.
But we do have a new album coming out, and I don't think, in the beginning we had a title for the album.
Okay.
I don't think we have one yet. We had a concept, and
Saving Hell from Itself.
It was called Saving Hell from Itself, and I think that maybe that'll change. The cover will probably change because we did the whole Kiss Love Gun thing.
The cover.
Right on.
As we grew, we discovered that maybe we should just be us. We're like, but we were just trying new things, being fun, and as the album grew, it didn't fit. So, but we do have a few songs. We've got one more song to record, and hopefully, I'm hoping, and I say this because people get pissed at me because I get excited and go, the album's coming out, and it doesn't. I'm hoping that by the end of November we can have some product, and we can bring it out. We do have one song on Spotify. It's been out 3 years now?
Yeah, it's a little 3 years.
2020.
Yeah, 3 years now. But this is a
Special kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And you guys have been on the Blaze and different things, right? Like on, I've seen you guys on Local Bandwidth and different things, haven't I?
Blaze, KZUM. Jerry and I actually went down to the KZUM back in March and did like a whole entire show with all of us had like bands and musicians, inspirations, and we played a bunch of songs on the radio. Talked to Cruz, which he's a very sweet guy, really cool,
beautiful,
really
man.
fun.
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And we've been on the Metal Manifesto benefit show. We did one in, I believe it was May, and then we did another one for Labor Day as well.
Luna for
And he's, like I said, he's a real good guy, and he's helped a lot of local bands out. And hopefully we can be able to do it again.
The Blaze.
Yeah, Luna from the Blaze. I've
Luna
known
from the
Luna
Blaze is great.
for 30 years, and she does a local podcast, and her husband is fantastic too. So there's lots of support for bands.
Yeah.
It's, and again, I'm beating a dead horse here. The clubs will whine and bitch because they're not making any money. Well, you're not paying us, so where's the money going?
It's going in someone's pocket, right? Just not the band's.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because if you want to charge $8 to $9 for a drink, those guys, the same kids, guys, whatever, they're gonna go to the store and buy a whole entire fucking 6-pack and just chill out home and watch live streaming stuff. They don't care about that. It's all about the venues, like atmosphere anyways. If the atmosphere sucks, no one wants to be there.
Well, here's a question for you guys. Do you think that local live music is dead? You know what I mean?
No.
Do you think that it's alive and kicking?
What I think is local live music needs to be reborn.
It's
I
not,
think
it's not as hot as it used to be.
I think live music needs to go back underground. I think you need to rent the halls. I think you need to, you can rent a goddamn hall and charge $5 at the door and put a keg in the back.
Yeah.
You're not breaking any rules. You're not selling the keg.
Nope.
I think everything has to go back.
I think people have forgotten how great a live show really can be.
Due to and you got to bring it to the kids. No one's bringing it to the kids. Kids aren't going to come to shows if they don't know who you are, and you can't get into a bar if you're not 21.
Yeah.
And music is about kids.
Well, how do you guys get away from the people think when they go to see a band that you're just a jukebox, right? It doesn't matter if you're a cover band or not. How do you guys kind of set yourselves aside, right? To where, because you're more original, but how do you tell people, like, we're not a jukebox, we're here, this is our set list, this
original scene's totally different.
Well, first off, we don't take requests.
No.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You guys are an original band, so you don't have that. But I know there's still that idiot who's going to yell, "Play Skinner." There's still the idiot who's yelling this and that,
But
the Freebird thing is usually just a haze, just because it's funny for people to do. I mean, I think whenever somebody hears Freebird, if they don't know how to play it, they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. We'll flip them off. There's a Freebird for you.
Black Sabbath.
But I mean, the jukebox thing is kind of tongue in cheek because a lot of bands, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're original, cover, they're like, well, play this, I deal with that in my dad's band, and it's a whole thing of like, we'll try it, we can try it, but we don't do that. We're a specified, we're a business.
Yeah.
That's like going to Walmart and trying to buy a car.
Right.
So
you can't, I mean, maybe some out there like San Diego or something, but around here, no, you can't go to Walmart and buy a brand new car right off the block.
Ricky's got a cover band.
I'd say
and I've been doing some cover bands too, off and on. So,
but what I'm talking about, Jerry. I mean, it may not necessarily go for this band, but people are still that way. You know what I mean? They want to tell the band what they think should be played, and you guys kind of set the precedent of we are who we are. Right?
As far as the jukebox goes, we're a lot like when you get on YouTube and you don't have you have one song, okay? You got one song you want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one you just keep playing on, and you hear stuff that you haven't heard before or haven't heard in a while. That's us.
Yeah.
We're not
we
the
do
jukebox.
We do have cover songs that we do.
We do a few covers, but we're not the jukebox that would play the top 40. We're gonna play the stuff that we love.
Deeper cuts.
Yeah.
And the whole thing when people sit there and argue, well, this is what I think you should play. It's like, that's okay. Go start your band.
Go start your band.
Pick up a guitar and you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up. They have jam bands, stuff like that.
It's funny, but I see when we get on stage, everybody backs up. It's like, oh, shit.
You know what?
Who are these guys? This is crazy.
You guys scare them, man.
You know what's even better is like
we need to back up. These guys are all over the place. We're jumping all over the place. We're entertaining. We're trying to do,
we get people come to see our shows, and it's funny because in intermission they'll all come talk to us, which is great because we're very into that. We go out and talk to everybody.
We're very
and I'll hear, well, the guitar player's not that good. And then I'll hear, this is funny. Well, you guys need a different singer. I'm like, well, I never say that. I'm like, I always go, yeah, Jerry, he's awful. You know, I'm like, but he's got a good stage presence. The bottom line is we just don't give a fuck,
right?
You know.
Well, that's the key is when in doubt, just put it on Jerry. You know, like Jerry can handle it, man.
What happens usually.
But you gotta
easy target.
You gotta understand that for every one person that hates you, there's 4 or 5 that love you.
Exactly.
And go with it and not be so.
So every person that hates you, there's 4 or 5 more that love you.
Oh, they're complaining, but yet they're there every show.
Right. Well, it's kind of like the Howard Stern thing, you know. People hated. There were so many people that hated Howard Stern, but they would tune in so much because they hated Howard Stern, right? So same principle. If they hate you, if they love you, let them come to your show. Let them pay the admission and let them come watch. And they're really just haters because they're admirers. That's what I feel. So
they critique because
Secret
that's what they think they can do.
Secret admirers, yes.
It's kind of like when Lars Ulrich was talking shit about Motley Crue, but then he was listening to Shout the Devil and being like, "Oh, this is actually really good."
Well, you know what's great is that honestly, the lead singer of Metallica loves Vince Neil, absolutely loves him.
Yeah, they just talk shit about him in press all the time. It's because that's what it was back in the day.
But that was the guy that he wanted to sound like. Yeah, and guess what? He kind of does if you really and all the progressions of Metallica. It's the music. You could hear Motley Crue doing that. Listen to Motley Crue music. You could hear Metallica doing Motley Crue. It may be different.
All that thrasher metal, and all that stuff it's kind of pretty close to because think about how much some of those bands really do rock. I mean, Motley Crue is a prime example. I mean, they could shred in any genre if they had to, but that's where they were placed. So who are you guys? Before I go to break here for my sponsors, give me an idea who some of your heroes are. Like, who got you guys into music, who you can say, absolutely, when I saw that one person or band got me into it?
Rick Springfield, Take Me Down, John Corabi, Paul Stanley.
Perfect.
I would say Tesla,
Okay.
Alice Cooper,
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
All those shows I went to when I was a kid.
You can't go wrong with any of that. You saw them and they blew your mind, right? And you're like, I'm going to pick up a guitar and do the same damn thing, right?
Especially Tesla. I'd seen them for their first album. And the first time they came out, I couldn't even read their name. I was like, Tesla, who the hell is this? The S is in between.
What about the other 2 members? What do you guys got? Who got you into it?
I would say, definitely Kiss and Motley Crue. Kiss and Motley Crue, especially in the early days for those 2 bands, because the image, the makeup, and all that stuff. I remember trying to make the Vinnie Vincent costume from Creatures of the Night era.
Yeah.
And then like Metallica and Megadeth for like the more thrashier, faster stuff. Because I try to intertwine the whole glam and thrash into each other.
And he's a youngin' in the band.
Oh
yeah,
and he's the youngster.
I forgot to mention Buffy St. Marie. Anybody out there that knows who she is? Bullshit.
I got nothing. Yeah. What about you, man?
Well, I'm actually on the exact opposite polarity. Every guy's going, Motley Crue. I was a big Motley Crue fan, but everybody's like talking about rock and metal stuff. I actually grew up with like Waylon Jennings, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
I was big. Well, Guns N' Roses what got me started.
I was going to say Skinner because Skinner is.
Yeah, Molly Hatchet was another one. The Cult. I mean, those were the kind of guys. The more bluesier sounding bands is what I kind of went up with because I grew up in outlaw country and stuff like that. So
absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Those bands of those genres influenced a lot of these other bands. So I mean, it's all kind of a circle.
Between me and him, guitar wise, is what fits so well together because I have this style and then he has that style, and the way we mix it together, it really, It all comes from the same place.
So when you come to the show, make sure he's singing something pretty.
That's right. We want something pretty from. Well, hey guys, I hate to interrupt this. I hope you guys we'll come back, but it looks like we got just a little bit of time left, so I need to pause for not station identification just yet, but a message from our sponsors. Hey there, fellow follicle enthusiasts. We have a sponsor that's about to make your beards go wild with delight. Brace yourselves for the one and only, the Elegant Sasquatch. Are you ready to unleash your outer beast?
Cain, I've been waiting for this moment my entire bearded life. But tell me, how can the Elegant Sasquatch help us awaken our inner beasts?
Oh, my hairy companion, the Elegant Sasquatch has a treasure trove of beard products that will have your whiskers partying like it's the wildest night in the forest. From their aromatic beard oils to their beastly balms and buttery concoctions, they've got everything you need to make your beard sing with joy.
I can almost hear my beard belting out its own rendition of I Will Survive.
Your beard is in for a treat, my friend, and here's the best part. Every single product is handmade with love. Picture this, a team of Sasquatch artisans rocking their aprons and wielding their grooming tools, crafting beard goodies that will blow your mind. It's like a hairy fiesta of craftsmanship.
I can see those Sasquatch artists dancing with their combs and trimmers like they're on a hairy stage.
Absolutely. These bearded maestros pour their heart and soul into every bottle of beard oil, every tin of balm, and every tub of butter. They're like the Michelin-starred chefs of the beard world, creating culinary delights for your facial hair.
My beard is salivating in anticipation.
Well, get ready for your beard to do a happy dance because the Elegant Sasquatch has you covered from all angles. Their beard oils will make your whiskers as smooth as a buttery glide. Their balms will sculpt your beard into a masterpiece that would make Da Vinci jealous. Their butters will leave your beard softer than a cloud made of marshmallows, and their washes will cleanse your beard with a scent that's fresher than the waterfalls in the Rockies.
My beard is ready for the bearded revolution.
You can find the Elegant Sasquatch on Instagram and Facebook. They're ready to share their hairy wisdom, showcase their bearded customers, and entertain you with memes that will make your mustache curl with laughter.
I can't wait to join the hairy community and bask in the glory of their bearded memes.
So, folks, get ready to let your beards run wild, unleash your outer beast, and head over to Facebook and Instagram to find the Elegant Sasquatch. Trust me, your beard will thank you, and you'll be the envy of every bearded creature in the virtual forest.
Here's to smelling like a wild creature and embracing your inner Sasquatch.
Cheers to that, my fellow bearded brethren, and stay elegant with the Elegant Sasquatch. All right, sorry about the break, everybody. Well, really, I'm not sorry about it because I got some sponsors and I got to take care of some business with them. So, if you're a bearded person out there and you don't want those beards smelling like a farm animal, get that Elegant Sasquatch right now. The rest of us cleaner faced folk, we don't really have that problem. So, welcome back, everybody. We have My Juliet once again. And apparently we don't have the drummer with us, though, because he's off saving women and children from burning buildings and everything else. I don't know what he's doing, but
well, he is a superhero.
He's
a superhero.
He's been in a countless amount of bands. I don't even list them.
Marco Dixon has probably been around the music scene for probably as long as anybody.
Yeah, Marco's a badass.
Very solid dude. Yeah.
When we started this band, I knew right away who our drummer should be. Yeah. We didn't audition. I just made a phone call. That
was history, right? He joined right then.
Yeah. It was. There was no audition. It was like, this is the guy I want. This is who it should be. There's nothing he cannot play. Nothing. So,
well, we needed to mention him, right? Otherwise I'll have to put a monkey in the background or something.
They would have said nice things about me.
Yeah. You can go online and you might be able to find some sexy poses on, because he's all over it.
I figure you still had the cardboard cutout in your closet.
Oh, I totally do. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's really why I'm doing this interview. I'm hoping for you guys to send me sexy poses of all of you guys. No, not really, but I'm sure we can. Oh, well, there we go.
I do have a video out there of me in the bathtub if you really want to see it.
He does. He's not like
We'll save that for the dark web, you know. So on the lighter side of things, you know, we talked a lot of music, but you know, I want to kind of ask you guys some other things too, you know, just so that we can get to know the band a little bit. You know, I don't know if you know this about this show, but you know, when this particular one comes out, it'll be past spooky month, but I'm kind of a spooky guy. You know, I do a little bit of a paranormal investigation. I talk about ghosts. Do you guys have any ghost stories? Have you guys ever encountered a ghost? Let's hear it from you guys.
I have quite a few, actually. I can just go by one of my father's experiences.
Okay.
He used to be a custodian and a groundskeeper at the state capitol building in Lincoln.
Yes, I got to hear this. Yes.
So he was actually cleaning one of the upper floors, and there's obviously there's a door that you're not supposed to enter unless you have authorization. Which he had all the keys and all that fun stuff. There's not supposed to be anybody in one of the rooms. I think it's like the 13th or 14th floor. I can't remember exactly where it was at.
13th would be.
So he was like, he was hearing noises because while he was cleaning the floors, he was hearing noises and papers being shuffled around. So he entered the door, and it was completely disheveled. There was paper all over the places, and he shut the door, and he was hearing it again. Right. That's one experience from the Capitol building. Another one is he was cleaning a library that was obviously, you know, off limits, of course, to the general public. And as he was sweeping the floors, he looked up and he saw this lady dressed in like a dress that's from maybe the early 1900s.
Okay.
Just floating in the air. Wasn't contact. She didn't say anything. My dad was asking, you know, who are you? Do you need any help? And I think the same night he saw the same lady across the hallway.
It doesn't surprise me. I was just on a ghost tour last night, and we went to the Capitol, and they're kind of telling the history. And I've had people on the show before tell me like all sorts of crazy stuff from the Capitol. So it seems like the jury's kind of no longer out. Like people can just probably say it's probably haunted, but you know, there's always that room for doubt. I mean, are you guys believers, skeptics in the paranormal?
I'm a believer.
I'm a big believer. I mean, I've had experiences myself.
I had an experience. When I was younger, I moved to Lincoln to go to school. Okay. And we moved into this older house. It was like split up into apartments, right?
Right.
And we had just moved in. We had a bunch of boxes and stuff laying around. Well, okay. So, you know, when you push in a box that has the, you know, the four corners and stuff, this shit started raising up. Okay. Yeah. That's not natural.
No, that's not natural.
It's not natural. And like the first night we lived there, I'm not kidding you. This is total no bullshit. I saw a little boy go in from one room into the bathroom. I didn't have any little boys. I had one little girl who couldn't go to the bathroom by herself yet. So yeah. I'm like, wow, that, and then other than that, there's the voices in my head, which I don't know has anything to do with anything.
That's
another show completely.
Yeah.
I would say I think people leave energy behind. So, you know, when stuff traumatic happens, there's a lot of negative energy that can be built up in places. I'm not sure about spirit wise, but.
What about that farmhouse you lived in out by Ithaca that we used to practice at, man? Was that place haunted or what?
My wife thinks every place we go to is haunted.
Right.
My wife's like a witch.
Yeah.
So. That doesn't say bitch.
That doesn't have anything.
So I can thank your wife for the trajectory of my life since I left the band from you, right?
She believes in this stuff. She puts salt on our door. She has certain stuff that she does to our house. She says this old lady's that died there is living in the place. You know, I haven't seen her, but she says she's living there. So
you've never seen anything at all?
No.
My thing is, they ain't bothering you. Who gives a shit?
Right.
You know, they're just doing their own little thing. You know.
That's kind of how I look at it too. It's like if they are there and as long as they're not messing with you or like hitting you and scratching you, then what's it really matter, right? We don't know what happens when we die, so
Every pendant I wear, she blesses. I mean, she does stuff like that. She believes in this, you know, the power outside of the realm that we're in.
right.
And I believe in that stuff too. So,
Man, I wish I had talked to her more about that stuff back in the days, man. I would have loved that. I never got to talk to her about any of that stuff, but there's just so much crazy stuff going on, and it's great to have music. I could talk about ghosts on Blue in the Face, and I'm sure my audience is like, please let it go. Ghosts already, they exist.
I could go to a whole entire different show and talk to you about ghosts. That's not a big deal for me.
What's great is why not believe in ghosts? I mean, why not? I mean, otherwise we're just food for worms, right?
We're just nothing. Yeah. I refuse to believe, we could get deeper, but I refuse to believe that there's nothing, like that's just my opinion. There's got to be something to the ridiculousness that we're putting up with here. You know what I mean? There's got to be something else, or it's nothing. I don't know.
I think God made us as a big joke. He's laughing all the way.
Some of us more than others, I feel like one of God's biggest jokes, But so we talked about let's kind of review a little bit. We talked about you guys' musical influences. You guys are kind of in the glam rock, genre only because that's where they kind of put you guys. But I mean, how did you guys feel when grunge first came out? I mean, were you guys destroyed by the fact that all these great bands were kind of like dying because of grunge and like the harder initiative, or what do you think about it?
I'm raising my hand like a little kid right here.
Yes, please, you.
I think back in the late 80s, early 90s, something needed to happen because it was all a bunch of crap. Right. I mean, it was a bunch of
PR people picking out.
Yeah, you're gonna sound like this, you're gonna look like this. It became cookie cutter. So it was great to see that something new came out and because
they were going
because there were a lot of great bands that didn't want to do that and they were made to do it. Yeah, we just happen to love what we do, and
music is an art form, and it doesn't matter. I don't like putting labels on things or genre or putting us in
because it requires you to think too
much. I just think people do their art. Yeah. And their art, if it sounds like it sounds, it sounds like it sounds,
Ultimately, we're going to sound the same whether we put all our makeup on, which we don't have on today. We're still going to sound like the same band, and we're still going to get the pigeonholed your glam band.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't really matter. We just try to put on a show, but we could go out like we are right now, and we're going to get the same response, and that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
We love it. It doesn't matter.
Well, not only that, I think even the post grunge really didn't kill the hair metal glam rock scene because you got stuff like Crazy Lips coming out and guys are still pushing hard. Dirty Honey came out.
Oh, Dirty Honey is a badass.
All those guys are still referencing the old. Well, even hair metal.
People are going back to the 70s sound, and that's what I wanted to do with my guitar playing. And whatever everybody wants to do in the band, they could bring to the band. We're not going to pigeonhole ourselves into
there's a lot of good, glam metal-ish, bands coming from, Europe. You got Crash Diet, you got Reckless Love, and then you do have some stuff here in the United States. It's not just in California because you do have Jet Black Romance, which is from California, and they're good. They're really good. But you also got some bands that are from Texas, Florida. I mean, obviously us. We're from Nebraska.
There are so many good bands out there nobody's even heard of.
Exactly.
And people don't realize.
There's so much talent out there, and there's not enough agents going out and
just because you have
musicians.
The difference is there are no real record companies anymore. There's no development deals.
No,
they're not putting the time in to let these bands. They're like, if you do get a record deal from a small company, it's a tax write-off most of the time.
Yeah,
because they don't have the money to back it. They screwed up when Napster came about because you can't control people getting free music anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, and people think they're entitled to it, and they're not. It's our art. It's what we do.
Well, this is what everybody hated Lars for, right? Everyone was so angry at Lars for saying, I don't want Napster to give our music away for free. We want to be paid. And now look what we're doing. Look what we're seeing years later. We're saying, oh, wait, maybe Lars was right. Maybe now all the bands are getting screwed. So thank you, Napster, for ruining it for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's more against the consumer versus musician thing, though.
Let me ask you, who do you think is the next Beatles? Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin?
Nobody.
Deep Purple.
No one.
Yeah, nobody like that. I know I pissed Jerry off with the post one time. Not really pissed him off because Jerry's mellow. But I said something about Greta Van Fleet being I said I think Greta Van Fleet, when we look back at their body of work, we're going to hold them in as high a regard as Led Zeppelin and all those big bands, Pink Floyd, because man, when you listen to what they're doing, it's just so like transcendent, unbelievable, that type of thing.
And I would definitely hope so. But when you look back, I don't think you're ever going to see.
No,
you're ever going to see like the greats.
Nothing like that, man. Nothing. Yeah.
I think you're looking at all the bands right now that are touring that are making money are the bands that are retiring.
Mhm.
They're in their 70s.
Yeah.
They're the ones making the money.
People
all
are
the
paying
new bands,
$200 a
like,
ticket.
Oh God!
Unless you want to go see Aerosmith and you're charging $3,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Falling in Reverse.
That's crazy.
Incredible band. Are anybody going to remember them 20 years from now? I doubt it.
Right.
If they do, it's probably just a controversy from Ronnie Radke. That's it. But people love controversy. That's what's working for him right now. People love controversy, whether you agree with him or you don't.
Well, controversy was a big staple in music anyway.
Exactly. It pissed people off, and it brought more sales into it. And that's another thing that's missing from the music industry, especially rock and metal.
Quo. It's a place where people can go and feel great and party and feel free.
Well, here's the ominous question then to you guys that I posed to you is, where should the music industry go from here? I know Ray kind of touched on it earlier, but what should we do to get back to business?
Underground.
We need to get back to the roots
back to the basics. Back to the basics. We need to bring the music to the kids.
That's what
because kids don't. Here's the thing: they have their phones. They don't, because they don't have the opportunity to see bands live. If you want, especially in the Midwest, where is a kid that's 18, 19 going to go see a band? He ain't going to go see it because there's nothing there for him
unless he pays buku money.
Well, I mean, he could get snuck in, but if you want to be a big band now, you have to appeal to the kids.
You have to be highly accessible too.
Yeah, because as adults, we're not going to buy albums either. We've figured out enough to know that we can listen to anything we want on the phone too. I mean, we're just as guilty. So
this generation loves Bohemian Rhapsody.
They do, but it's also because it's pushed in every single thing, and it's, of course, it's an epic song, but it's kind of the agendas that they push. They're being pushed in commercials, they're being pushed in everything. So it's kind of an oversaturation of all of it in general. This generation, who knows where they're going with music. There's a lot of great bands out, there's grunge bands out there right now that are just as good at making a resurgence. There's glam bands, you mentioned Europe. I mean, there's unbelievable bands out there, and we don't know about them, and that's a sad thing, because I would love to see music kind of get back to, once again, the cream rises to the top, and then
what happened. Like, in this area, all these bands here think that they're the shit, and they don't realize there's a big world out there besides Omaha and Lincoln.
I think a lot of the that they're having with the media marketing, as well as its way it's going, is, like I said, digital accessibility. Because now record companies can sign off for one-hit wonders, and you don't get the deep cuts anymore. You don't buy that and stumble upon, hey, this song is really good. Like, Nonstop Nowhere, I've never heard that until Ray pushed on me as a deep cut. I said, that's actually a really good song.
Maybe AI can help us.
And
I don't know about that.
And I'm going to push
AI will save us.
I'm going to push something right now that I've been thinking about. I think, we're Jerry's going to do a sex tape. Yes, he's going to be by himself, but it's going to be all over TikTok. And as long as we get enough downloads, we can make some money.
I only want to see it if there's a robot involved, though, Jerry. If there's not a robot, then it's just not worth it.
It's the Jerry
Doing the
Johnson
hand
show.
jive over here, man.
The Jerry's Johnson show.
Jerry Johnson.
Yeah. Well, that'll be your podcast, man. You need to come out. You need to have a podcast where each time. This is a new
My
world.
wife's maiden name is Little, so it could be Little Johnson.
Little Johnson and Jerry's Johnson. Yeah.
It's like the name fools you because it's little, but then he pulls his pants down.
Granted, it's a cucumber, but yeah.
Well, unfortunately, boys, I know that we're kind of running out of time. I know you're all busy guys, and I definitely appreciate so much that you agreed to do this. Do you guys have anything you want to promote? Any shows that might be coming out in November? I'm going to try to get this out November, December, roughly around there.
We're not doing any shows until spring, but we do have a new album coming out, and I'm hoping it's going to be done end of November, early December.
Perfect.
It's an EP. I think everybody will love it. They've all been waiting on it. They've all been giving me crap because I'm the last guy in line here.
If you haven't, check out our song from 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Check that out.
Well, we're
Special
also
Kind of Crazy.
We're also talking
It's
about
on all the
what everyone's
platforms.
set up yet with the online merch store.
Oh yeah. Talk
So-
about the merch.
We're trying.
We're gonna be talking about getting an online store. I've been working on it for a while now. It's not fully set up, but speaking of merch, we do have t-shirts, but we're not going to be charging 20, 25 to 30 fucking dollars for a t-shirt.
Cost.
We're more like $10, $15 and maybe like $2 for like a poster, bandana, and all that stuff. We want to be as accessible as possible.
Yeah.
And so once we get this online store, people can, buy our merch, across the country, not just come out to see local shows.
Yeah, and that's one thing great about this
we're not
band is
thinking about
not
that
only
technical.
are we all musicians, we love it and have passion for music, but we also are all very creative, directive individuals.
Right.
Actually, and we don't need money. We make money selling crack, and you can too.
I sell plenty of it. Trust me. Crap that is. So, well, thank you guys so much, man. And, for the listener out there, check these guys out, check out their music, get on there, buy some t-shirts and go and support these guys when they are playing, support them and support local bands who are trying and really putting in the work. All right. And stop the ridiculousness.
Support all local bands, man. If they're your friends, go see them. Support anything you can live. Because if you don't, it's going to go bye-bye.
And support Jerry's sex tape when it comes out soon. We can't wait for it.